Welcome and welcome to everyone. Thank you for coming and spending an hour with us today, and for your interest in the mentoring program. My name is Sam Simpson. Thank you, Ria, for my introduction. So I have a background in speech and language therapy and counselling. I'm dual trained, and I'm also a qualified supervisor. So I'm bringing a mixed skill set to the program. And it's a joy to be here with you and talking about the mentoring program. As Ria was saying, we have funding for the fourth iteration, and I think it is a program that, I hold dearly. There is something, I think, about supporting connections within the stammering community and facilitating relationships where people can learn from and with each other about stammering and really look at that transition into work. So I'm delighted to have you here and talk a little bit more about the program. So I've got a slide deck that I'm going to talk through. I've got, I think, 5 or 6 slides, and then you'll have an opportunity to speak to a couple of people who are on this year's programme. So here we go. Let's bring up the first slide. Just connect the fact that it's being recorded. Okay. So, mentoring. Let's start with the definition of mentoring, just so that we can all be clear what it is that this program is aiming to do. So this definition positions mentoring as a professional relationship in which an experienced person, the mentor, assists another, the mentee, in developing specific skills and knowledge that will enhance the mentee's professional and personal growth. So the idea of bringing together somebody with less experience with more experience, and what is unique, I suppose, to this mentoring program is that we're looking at bringing together people who are looking at transitioning from school into employment, or from school into education, or from education into, or further education into employment. So really looking at that transition either between school and university, or between school and employment, and university and employment, and looking at bringing together, I suppose the mentee may have a particular industry, a particular line of work that they're interested in exploring, and being able to meet with somebody with more experience who's travelled that path, if you like, in that industry, and to learn from and with them. But the mentor and the mentee also share in the experience of stammering. So it's an opportunity for the mentee to meet with someone not only with that industry experience, but experience of navigating that industry with stammering. And I think that combination can be really helpful and constructive, because often there's a lot of uncertainties transitioning into the workplace, and uncertainties around what's possible. And I think, hopefully these collaborations and bringing or giving the mentees access to someone with more experience in a particular industry helps shatter any glass ceilings, I suppose, that they may have put in place for themselves in terms of what is possible professionally in the context of stammering. So the aim of the program is very much to support mentees to develop both personally and also professionally. So what is mentoring? Here's a drawing that I think can help unpick a little bit more what the program can offer. So the mentees will come with a variety of different goals. As I said, it depends on where they're at in their lives and the transition that they have ahead. So you may be at school and thinking about next steps following school. So that may be employment, that may be an apprenticeship, that may be going to university, and just wanting some support to navigate that transition. Or you may already be at university and looking at transitioning either further education or into work. And so, yeah, goals can vary really from, looking at supporting that university transition and managing lectures and presentations maybe on courses and meeting new people, through to transitions into work, or if people are in work, they may be looking to be promoted and have support around promotion. So again, the personal goal that you may be bringing as mentee will be very varied. But the program offers you some support. So, having an opportunity to meet regularly with another person who stammers with industry experience. And that support can be many and varied. It may be that you have some questions and you're interested in hearing about somebody's trajectory in that industry and wanting some advice. You may have questions that you'd welcome some advice around, particularly maybe how to navigate an apprenticeship application, or how to navigate looking for work and the interview process. You may be looking for some specific coaching. So I'm thinking of examples that may be around completing job applications, pulling together a CV, for example, applying for an apprenticeship. It may be interview practice, either for an apprenticeship or for employment. So having, I suppose, some training around that maybe, and some specific coaching in relation to the application that you're making. It may be that you've got questions and you're looking for signposting and for some ideas around possible directions of travel as you're exploring a particular industry. So if I think of examples, people have helped, mentors have helped mentees set up maybe workplace visits or meetings with other professionals in a particular industry, for example, to gather some more experience or some more information. Or it may also be signposting them to different organisations and charities that can support them going forward. Hopefully the mentoring will be motivating. It will offer, support and encouragement to step outside of your comfort zone and try something new, or take some risks in terms of the next steps, in terms of your apprenticeship application or your university application or your employment application. And hopefully mentoring will also be about celebrating successes. So that may be successful applications. If I think this year we've had a couple of people who've successfully applied for new jobs and got them. And so it's, or apprenticeship applications, for example, or just looking at the university decision making and, being able to celebrate offers that they have. So, again, depending on your personal goal, mentoring will offer you access to someone who will really be able to walk alongside you and support you in a very bespoke, specific way in whatever aspiration and transition you are making in your life. So I have now moved the images. I just need to move my slide. There we go. So in terms of the design of the programme and the commitment, I suppose, that we would be asking of you were you to want to apply. As Ria was saying, the Mentee applications open this evening and will run from February until August this year, so over the spring and the summer. And that is the same for mentors too. Their applications will open next week following their briefing session. So there's a number of months for you to apply, and then from May to August we offer interviews. So it's a chance to meet with Ria and and just to talk a little bit more about what has drawn you to the mentoring program and what you're hoping to get out of it. Really, it's an opportunity for Ria to get to know you, to hear a bit more about where you're at in your life and the transition that you would like some support around, and also to talk a little bit more about what you would be looking for in your mentor. That may be, in relation to their industry experience, for example. And that will really help with the matching process. So we do take a lot of care to really try and match mentors and mentees. I suppose, not only in relation to industry experience, but also in terms of personality. And any, just meeting any other criteria that you as a mentee are looking for in your mentor. So were you to apply, following the interviews in May and August, we would match those of you that were accepted on the programme and let you know in September with a view to us then all coming together on the 24th of October for a training event. So that is half a day. The mentors come along in the morning and the mentees come along in the afternoon, and we have this point in the middle of the day where we bring you together and introduce you to each other. And that's where it all kicks off, I suppose, from that point on. So from the end of October through to the beginning of November, you start your mentoring sessions. And the commitment, the minimal commitment of mentoring sessions that we ask is 6 over 6 months. So that's 1 meeting a month. And, so that will run from, as I said, the end of October through to the end of April. And the frequency of those sessions varies. Some pairings meet every month, some pairings meet a little bit more frequently, specifically if there's a particular event that the mentee is preparing for. So if there's an interview, for example, or a particular job application, then they may meet a little bit more frequently in preparation for that. But alongside the mentoring sessions, I will be meeting with the mentors on a regular basis to offer supervision. And that's really just to help oversee and support the mentoring process so that we can, I suppose in many ways it's about holding the mentoring, supporting the mentors so that as mentees you have access to the best possible mentoring your mentors can offer. The evaluation and closing event that we have scheduled for this next programme is at the end of April, so the 29th of April, 2026. Feels like a long way off now, doesn't it, to be planning that far ahead. So a little bit about who's involved. So Ria obviously kicked us off today and is integral to the recruitment process. And matching helps deliver that initial training program, and then is the point of contact for mentees over the course of the program. So any issues, concerns, worries, questions can be directed to Ria. In terms of my involvement, I help with the matching too, and then I'm involved in delivering that initial training, the ongoing supervision, and I'm the point of contact for the mentors. In terms of numbers, we're hoping to recruit 15 mentees and 15 mentors. Ria doubles up, not only, I suppose, in terms of recruitment, matching, training and mentee oversight, but also in terms of admin and communication. We really look to try and build a community. So actually there's access to a WhatsApp group for mentees and a WhatsApp group for mentors as well to help bring you together and create a community around the programme. In terms of, you may have questions around safeguarding. I mean, we really, what we value is the quality of the programme, but also to really ensure that it is robust and rigorous in terms of safeguarding. There are a number of factors that help to that, really. We have known referral sources. So ambassadors, for example, are often a source, will often get involved in the programme. or mentors will come from other organisations that we have strong links with. So that might maybe NHS trusts, therapists, that may be City Lit, for example, or other, I don't know, I'm thinking of maybe stammering networks that we are familiar with. The application process is very rigorous. There is, a form that has to be filled out, as I said, and we've got interviews for both mentees and mentors. We ask for references and carry out DBS checks on all of the mentors. And, as I was describing, there's quite a careful and thoughtful matching process. As well as the supervision, so the ongoing supervision for mentors. So hopefully all of these measures will help you just feel confident that there is support around the pairings and around the mentoring that is available. And then, I mean, in a minute, you're going to hear from Olga, but the impact for the mentees is profound. It's been a lifeline, is a quote from a mentor from last year's program. I think we see multiple different ways that the program can be impactful for the mentees. A primary one often is in terms of confidence and belief in self, that positive attitude change. I think the program really helps young people re-story stammering and their own potential in terms of employment. So maybe, they come into the program thinking that there are limits to what they are able to do professionally, and hopefully their conversations with the mentors will really gently challenge that or unpick that and invite them to really see and discover their own potential. To feel empowered really to navigate their stammering in positive ways in the workplace. The program, I think, really looks to reduce those negative perspectives of stammering or negative attitudes towards self, and to really see what is possible with stammering, and how stammering in many ways can be used to positive effect in the application process, and in terms of talking about yourself and what you bring maybe to a role or a university course. The program helps build confidence living with stammering. So that might be about feeling more comfortable talking about stammering. That may be more comfortable about feeling more comfortable sharing your stammering with a listener, say in an interview, or if you're making that transition into university, as you're meeting new people and introducing yourselves in lots of new social situations. I think the program encourages people to step outside of their comfort zone and to take a few risks. And obviously you have a chance to go back and review and reflect on them with your mentor afterwards. So you have that, someone really alongside you as you experiment with some new ways of being with your stammering. And as I said earlier, we've had some real successes in terms of career progression. So a number of people have had successful interviews, new employment opportunities, and successful promotions, which is great. I mean, that they're always, that's always really encouraging, and what the program is really wanting to support. So that's probably enough from me at this point in time. I'm going to bring us back into the group, and perhaps Olga, we'll start with you if that's all right, as you are a mentee on this year's programme. And it would be lovely just to hear from you a little bit about what brought you on the programme and how you've been finding it, if that is okay.
So what brought me on to the program was that I've just in the beginning of my career, and I hadn't met anyone back in person who stammered and also had a career for themselves. So I stumbled upon this opportunity, it being sent to my email, I believe, through CityLit. So I started looking on the Action Stammering for Children website and came across ambassadors and actual people who stammered and worked in real life too. So I really wanted that guidance in my career because I was particularly nervous about navigating work as an adult who stammers. So I currently work part time, but my stammer still does impact me even outside of work. So that's the main reason why I applied for this mentoring program. I found the application process really easy for myself to understand, and there was always a contact email if I had any sort of questions, and that's something that I really did like. So by the time I applied and got to the interview stage, I already had a great idea as to what I was applying to and what I could expect. And once I had gotten in and gotten through the interview stage, the opening events were really clear and gave me a better idea as to what to expect, and it allowed me to set goals for myself, which I have achieved. One of my goals, wanting to be more open about my stammer at work, especially to my line manager and to my colleagues, and also not to let myself hold myself back from opportunities at work because of my stammer. I tended to shy away from opportunities, both speaking and non speaking. But since having a mentor, I have been able to go for those opportunities at work, and work has gotten a lot easier to attend.
That's great to hear. Thank you, Olga. Lovely. You've given us an overview, really, right from application through to where you're at now, and the positive impact that the mentoring has had. What we're going to do now, if that's all right, Olga, is hand over to Chris, who is currently one of the mentors on this year's cohort. And then what we'll do is open the floor so that if anyone has any questions for Olga and Chris, we can field those. So Chris, yeah, tell us a little bit about you and what drew you to the mentoring program and how you found it.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. Hi, I'm Chris Thebe, and I stammer, and I have done all my life, and into my fifth decade of being a 52-year-old. So, what drew me to this thing? So there was two things really. Like I came across the mentor scheme bit by accident, really. I've in the recent years like volunteered a lot around the stammering like kind of space sort of thing. Since lockdown, I think lockdown was one of my pivotal moments where I needed to do something to fix my stammer or to finally get over it one. And that was just one of many throughout my life where I needed to fix my stammer or stop or I don't know, whatever. But it was and I started to volunteer with Stammer, like the charity on their helpline and stuff, and then once you're involved in that volunteering stammering space, all these opportunities arise, and this was one of the opportunities that I really wanted to do. I applied a few years ago and got knockbacks, which I was most upset about. To my ego was dented, but then this time I was successful, which I was really pleased about. And what I want, what I the main purpose of doing this is that if I look back at me when I was a young adult going out into the workplace, I would have loved to have a mentor to speak about what would I face in the upcoming world, because it's hard enough being young and like going to uni or going for jobs or whatever ever without having a stammer, but it was doubly hard kind of with one and all those negative opinions that you have of yourself and the way you're portrayed by your speech. So that was my reasoning why I did it. But I would honestly say as a mentor, you gain so much from doing it as well. It's not just what you give, it's what you gain from it as well. You kind of like, obviously you can like give your opinion to someone based on your experience, but you also like gain that opinion of your impressions of what people feel like at that age when and what they're going through and and the challenges they have and stuff, and it's been really worthwhile. And yeah, it's been really good. And they do you want me to go on, or does anyone have any questions? Please do.
You're very welcome to say a little bit more, Chris, or we can open the field to questions.
I was just gonna mention about the process here. You really highlighted a lot on that on your slide, but me and my mentee, he really wanted to get into the field of work that I work in IT software, and I've worked in there since I left university. So and he wanted to get into that industry, which is good. We had some goals around or the things he had to do, like update his CV, start applying for jobs, start applying for this, start applying for that, kind of make himself. And we also had some like kind of like personal goals as well to sort of feel like reach out to the STEM community, because a bit like Olga said, he hadn't interacted with anyone else in his life who's stammered, and really when you start to kind of reach out to people in this sort of kind of space, you kind of realize that you're not really on your own, and you've got other people like around you who's stammer. You have this quote where like we're all in the same boat, but we're not all in the same boat, but we're in our individual boat, but we're all in this same storm, but in our own boats. And that's what I heard once, and I thought, oh, that's really thing, because like everyone stammers, and if you hear people's stories, they are very alike, but they're still very individual as well, and you're stammered by individual. So I was trying to instill that confidence in him, to instill that really his perception of his stammer to himself is far, far worse than what other people see it. So I was trying to get him to, as well as to reach out to like support groups or whatever, join Facebook groups or social media around stammering, because there's a lot there. Also to disclose more that he's stammers sort of like in public and stuff, and like maybe when he's going for coffee and he's ordering coffee, trying to tell people that he stammers before he orders, and just see how it goes, and he came back and he said, oh yeah, I did that once, and the person just went, okay, and that was it. And I said, yeah, because really nobody cares about your stammer as much as you care about it. It's just the way you speak. So try and sort of get a bit of confidence that no one looks at him in the negative light. So we could kind of add, they were the two main things we worked on. Worked on his confidence and worked on his job applications. And then we met virtually, like every 2 weeks. I know we had 6, but we've been every 2 weeks, a bit like short and often rather than having that big long month. And yeah, and it hopefully he's benefiting a lot out from it. So
Thank
that's
you,
it.
Chris.
I will
Yeah.
stop talking about
No, that's great. Thank you. Well, that gives us 20 minutes now, really, for some questions. So I don't know, Lawrence, Sienna, and Jordan, whether you have any questions that you would like to put to either Olga or Chris.
Yes, I wanted to ask Chris something actually.
Yeah.
Forgive me, I'm going to have to go in a minute because I've got to cook supper for my kids. But and also, I didn't know about the thing next Tuesday. So if you could tell me about that. Obviously, I want to do this, so you can knock your 15 down to 14 mentors. So I'm very happy to involve myself. But I was just wanted to ask Chris really quickly. I'm not quite clear what your line of work is, and sorry if you said, but I'd have missed it. And was your mentee attracted to the same line of work that you're in? And did you speak to your own employers about what their views were about, a job interview for someone who stammers, and were you able to pass any of that information back onto your mentee?
good questions. So I think I'm right in thinking that yes, well, I work in the IT industry and computer development, websites and stuff like that. And I believe that Sam matched or re-matched the mentee to us. So that was the connection. Your other question was about asking my employer. Well, I told my employer I was involved in this, and they're very supportive about the whole like volunteering in this. Like I do a lot of volunteering at work in like the DEI space and stuff where because that's all encompasses and that. So they were very impressed. But his role wasn't getting him a role in our organization. His job was to just apply to roles out there, and I was just gonna advise him on interview techniques and stuff, and maybe do like practice interviews with him and stuff. So I hope that answers the question.
Sorry, can I just to
Absolutely, yeah.
for my if what I'm not clear. I mean, obviously, I can't start. I'm not a speech therapist, right? So I don't want to start. If I have a mentee, I don't want to. Maybe this might be Olga could illuminate me a bit on this as well. I don't want to start saying to a potential mentee, well, this is how you should go about trying to manage your stammer or anything like that. It's that's not it, is it?
No, I didn't do that.
So what is it then? Can you help me with that?
Well, so in outside of the applying for jobs and updating his CV and all of that space, like which is just like advice you would get off. I would give anyone who was trying to apply for a role anywhere. I'd like give him that advice. I read through his CV. It was that it had gaps in, the formatting was terrible, etc. So like, and I've done loads of interviews at work. So I just give him all that advice. I pointed him in the right direction of maybe looking at certain types of roles and because he was applying for stuff like he would never get. You know what I mean? Like he was going down the wrong track. So I pointed him in the wrong track. As far as Stan was concerned, I just basically just give him some worldly advice from someone who's had a stammer for 50 years, if that makes sense. Like disclosing your stammer is something I would tell anyone who would just stammer, because obviously it becomes the elephant in the room if you don't tell people like stammer. And my experience is when I don't, I get really anxious about speaking. But if I do, you won't stop me speaking like on this call. So that's what I give him, and then and the only other thing advice I give him is told him that there was lots of
I believe from the perspective of having my mentor also happens to have a stammer, but I like to think of the mentor as one, a safe place to get that opportunity to have a mentor of someone in like inside of a similar career field. As the one of the challenges of having a stammer, you like sometimes you tend to miss out on opportunities like mentorships if you don't get to pass the interview stage because of your stammer. And even if and even if it's coming from the perspective of my mentor didn't have a stammer, but that same career advice and that same space as to someone being an ally and being open to my stammer was enough to make improvements in my life, because we do talk about things outside of our stammer in terms of our career and even personal goals or navigating life as an adult too. I'm not sure if that answers your question, Lawrence.
No, thank you. That's all very helpful. Thank you.
I also want to say, Lawrence, that for mentors, because you have regular supervision, the conversations that a mentor would have with me is going to be constantly reflecting on the boundaries of the role, and really making sure that you stay within mentoring, don't slip into stammering therapy or speech and language therapy, that boundary is really respected.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so yeah, I do have a question. If I mean if you can all hear me.
We can, Jordan. Yeah, fire
but-
away.
So yeah, I just wanted to check if I'm kind of like the right like candidate for this, because I've already gone to university and I'm currently in employment already, kind of in the field I want to be working in. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure like I'm kind of the right person.
That counts if you are between the age of 18 and 25. It's absolutely fine to be in employment, Jordan. So we have mentees that are working and are looking to, I don't know, gain promotion within that role or to change role. So I don't know, or just to look at developing within the role that they are in. So I mean, I can't hear anything that would sound like you weren't suitable for now. I don't know if you have a sense of what support you'd like at this point in your career, Jordan.
I'm not really too sure in terms of support. I mean, I am currently doing a speech course already. I'm doing that at City Lit, so I'm doing
great.
well. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure in terms of support. But I kind of just saw this email and just thought, just why not just join the meeting? But yeah,
and come along.
yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. There may not be anything immediately that comes to mind. Sorry, Olga, I think you were about to respond.
Oh, I think that's one of the benefits of having a mentor, because there's some things you wouldn't realize you wanted to do, like you. I'm also in employment too, and just starting my career. There's some opportunities I wouldn't have thought of if it wasn't for if it wasn't for my particular mentor. So I think this is the perfect opportunity and program for you to join in.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Olga. Sienna, I don't know if there's anything you'd like to ask or put in the chat. Oh, I'm just looking in the chat here. How often are the mentoring sessions? Yeah, no. So the ask of the program is that you have 6 sessions over 6 months. So that is a session a month, as a minimum. But I do know, you know, as Chris, you were saying, I do know mentoring pairings that do meet more frequently than that. Some meet every fortnight, or some might meet fortnightly for you know, in preparation for maybe an interview or a presentation that someone is giving. And then have a little bit of a sort of longer gap between the next session once that event has passed. But yeah, as a minimum once a month, but that is up for negotiation with your mentor.
Would it be okay just to come in quickly?
Absolutely.
Just because there was a question earlier in the chat that I think is really important just to underline that one of and it kind of feeds into two questions that have come up in the discussion. So one of the benefits of the program is that everything is done online. So one of the questions was whether the induction was online. So the induction session, the kickoff in October, is all done online. Lots of breaks, don't worry. And then your mentoring sessions are also all online. And the reason I wanted to just underline that was because it feeds to the safeguarding points that Sam was talking about. It's one of the big reasons. But the other really important reason that we've decided to do that is it means that there's no restriction on geography. It means that we can be, when we're matching, we match on lots of different criteria. That's why we have the chat with mentees and mentors to get to know you a bit better, so that we're thinking about the career or the goals you want. We're thinking about your personality and what you tell us about yourselves, but we don't have to think about someone's in Scotland and someone's in Cornwall, which actually has happened this year. So we have a mentor who's based in Cornwall, and then we have a mentee who is, I think, in Newcastle. And so it's a really a big bonus, I think, of the program, because it means that we can base it on you rather than on logistics. So I hope that answered the question that came up earlier.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Anything else, Jordan or Sienna, that you would like to ask Chris and Olga?
Yeah, I do just have one more question. So just kind of going back to the mentoring sessions, are those going to be online then, or?
They are, Jordan. Yeah, they are. They are too. So they might be through Zoom, they might be through Teams, they might be through WhatsApp. You can agree the platform with your mentor. Yeah, so you know, and there can then be flexibility around the time and when that's going to happen. You know, it's just about you both having a confidential environment in order to be able to take the call.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. And I think, Sienna, have I seen that you don't have any other questions? No, thank you, Sienna. So I don't know, Olga, whether we can maybe finish with you, if that's all right. I don't know if you, what would you say to somebody who was considering applying to this program? I don't know what words of encouragement you would give them, Olga.
I would say not to overthink your application and have an open mind, as even though you may be matched with someone who has a similar career path to yours or not, there's still so much that you can learn, and having an open mind is what has helped me access opportunities that I never would have thought of by myself. So having an open mind and not to overthink your application, because the interview is more of like an informal chat, because I definitely was overthinking a lot of the time until it got to the interview, and realized it was more of an informal chat as to where I wanted to go, because in the beginning I didn't have any specific mentoring goals or career goals, and I realized that is what being a mentee is for, and having the mentoring sessions are for. So even if you don't have any career aspirations as of yet, not to feel too panicked about that.
Yeah, great. I'm hearing that. Sort of give it a go, and you'll work out what or how you want to use the sessions as you go. In many ways, is what I'm hearing. Chris, I don't know if there's anything you would like to say to prospective mentees who are thinking about applying.
Yeah, I'll just go back to what I said earlier on. I would have loved this to have a mentor when I was younger to advise me about my career or or just anything really. Just ask them anything, because I didn't know anyone who stammered when I was 20. There was no internet in them days. There was no, none of this Zoom meetings or anything. I literally knew nobody, and even if I had bumped into someone, it's probably not something that we would have spoke about either. So I would say definitely, if you get the opportunity to get a mentor, definitely use it really, and just go for what's the worst thing that could happen,
Go for it. Is that
Yeah.
what I'm hearing? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you both. Thank you for sharing, and I hope, Sienna and Jordan, it's been helpful. I think I can see that Ria's put the application link in the chat, so do take a look and do consider joining us on the 2025 programme.
We just add that if you have any questions in the meantime, because if you're anything like me, I always have a ton of questions the next day. I'm just putting our email address in the chat as well, so please do just reach out and we can have a chat anytime. But there's a lot of information on that website already, and the application form is there too. And we will be kind of putting out more materials as we go on, so you'll get a little bit more of a taster. Olga's giving you such a fantastic insight into what it can be like to be a mentee. And we have some testimonials coming out across our social media over the next few months as well from some of Olga's colleagues in the mentee cohort. So do keep an eye, but we really hope to hear from you, and we hope you found this very helpful. Right, well, I'll let you have your dinner, everybody, I think. Don't you think, Sam?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's been lovely to meet and just to be reflecting on what the programme has to offer. So thank you, Chris and Olga, for coming along and sharing your experiences, and to Sienna and Jordan for coming along to find out more. Okay.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.